So, you want to get better at rescuing, or one of your randoms flops so bad in rank that you're sending them this video. Regardless, you're here for a reason, so welcome to an in-depth guide of rescuing for dummies. In this guide, I will walk you through the best ways to approach rescuing and the steps to prepare for rescuing when you're actually rescuing and what to do after. There will be some advanced tips in here as well, but I will try to mainly focus on the basics. To begin, I will state some of the currently consistent characters in the meta for rescuing as of this video. My personal favorite is Gravekeeper, who is currently a top priority for rescuers. Following his pick, other consistent options include First Officer, Mercenary, and Escapologist. While I would also say Aeroplanist, he has a very high skill ceiling, but is 100% worth mastering if you put in the time. When building your persona web, you must prioritize bringing Tide Turner. Ideally, you also want to carry Borrowed Time, but certain rescuers may opt for Flywheel, such as Journalist or even Knight. Speaking of, while Knight can get away with not running Tide due to his ability Chivalrous Sympathy, you can maximize his rescue value by saving normally with Tide, then rescuing with his ability second, especially if you achieve a safe rescue or have a healer. Characters like Coordinator, on the other hand, may opt to not bring Tide Turner and use Flare Gun exclusively for rescue to offer a rebound. For additional traits, I do highly recommend bringing Healing, Symbiotic Effect, and Sneak. These traits allow you to heal over time and be healed faster, run towards the chair faster, and hide your trail when you're near the chair, respectively. Now we've covered the pre-match basics, and we're loading into the game. If you have map selection available, as a rescuer, you will typically spawn in the middle of the map, with the exception of Sacred Heart Hospital and the Red Church, of which you will typically go on the bottom. Another exception is Moonlit River Park. For this map, you will spawn at one of the top segments known as the Cypher Bridge. Do be aware, these are typically very weak and exposed areas, and hunters in higher tiers may chase you first. And on to the juicy part. Your teammate finally went down. First thing is first, we should estimate if it's worth rescuing or selling them. Honestly, this is something highly variable and will change on a case-by-case basis. Main factors to look at include the hunter, the cipher progress, and if the survivor has rebound potential. Will the game benefit more from simply rushing ciphers, or should you bring them back into the game? Well, you decide to go rescue. Ideally, you want to leave your cipher the moment your teammate goes down. This is especially the case on large maps or if they die far away. The latest I would recommend getting off your cipher is when they get chaired, unless you're pushing a cipher that is extremely close to popping and the chair is decently close. This not only allows you to position yourself early and offer more grace in saving before half, but it also prevents giving the hunter extra information by glancing at shaking ciphers. Chair routing is also vital, hence why leaving earlier can be important. You want to choose the least obvious route when running to the chair, staying out of vision for as long as possible. You also want to avoid getting caught at choke points such as doors or pallets that allow hunters to body block you from the chair. After the long trek to the chair, you're finally able to rescue. Typically, you want to try and bait a hit, whether it's on you or the chair, or you simply want to bait out abilities to allow an easier rebound. Ideally, you also want to save as close to the 50% mark as possible without breaching that threshold. This allows your team to buy as much time as possible for ciphers. And as a general tip, the survivor being rescued will always spawn on the right side of the chair unless it's somehow entirely blocked, so saving from that side can make it harder for the hunter to get direct access immediately after the save. However, it is important to note that when you save with Tide Turner, do not try and body block.
Get down, Mr. President!
Let the rescue survivor take the Tide Turner to rotate away to a better area to die in away from ciphers and allow an easier rebound for the second rescue. The only exception is if they are on their last chair and you have the cipher progress to do so. When saving from basement with Tide Turner, let the rescue survivor leave alone as you head to the back of the basement. This will prevent the hunter from getting an easy double down. Now, following the rescue, you have to decide where to go and what to do. Typically, you'll simply continue decoding. Ideally, another survivor already finished your cipher and you can simply help decode the last two new ciphers. If not, depending on how far the chair was from your original cipher, you can return if it was close or start a new one close by from the rescue if it was farther out. In a perfect scenario, you performed a damageless rescue or you have a healer on your team who brought you back to full health. This would allow you to return for a second rescue if necessary, allowing the survivors with faster decoding to stay on their ciphers. Now, what happens if you don't have an actual rescuer, or the rescuer was the one who got chaired? The typical priority list, of which can vary depending on the situation, will typically go harassers or supports, kiters with flywheel, kiters, and finally decoders. As a side note, I highly recommend learning your matchups into hunters as it can help you determine a lot of the variables as well as how to rescue safely and efficiently. Of course, naturally, it will take time, so feel free to take it at your own pace. Well, you made it to the end of the guide. Hopefully, this information can offer valuable insight and can help out our survivors a little bit more. Rescuing is definitely a thankless job, but unfortunately, it is a necessary one. Thank you for taking the time to review the guide, and if there is anything I missed, feel free to comment down below, and take care.